Hello and good afternoon. My name is Robert Browning. I am the president of the Wayne State University NDSA Student Organization. I'd like to first begin by thanking the 2021 NDSA Digital Preservation Conference organizers for giving us the opportunity to present the Family Digital Preservation Project. And I'd also like to thank the members of our organization who have worked hard and contributed so much to its development. And of course, I'd like to also thank Kim Schroeder, our faculty advisor, for her encouragement and her advice during the last year. So we began the project about 1 year ago to help individuals who may not be aware of how fragile digital materials are, to learn how to save and manage them. So we created a website to facilitate this, which we will provide a link for in the chat. So first, let me give some context behind our project. It's well known that digital materials are easier to create in greater number than ever before, and we often take it for granted that whatever is digital will last forever. However, such material is in fact more fragile than other formats. For instance, the obsolescence of technologies such as file formats and software that are frequently changing and going out of date, along with the issue of how to store an ever-increasing amount of information, pose a dilemma for individuals who do not know much about managing digital materials and are not versed in the best practices of digital preservation. Because it's not like in the past, when Grandma gave you a shoebox of letters and photos. So as we developed the website, we kept one question in mind. How can we help people save their digital materials and memories so that it is not overwhelming for them? To answer that question, we sought to provide some basic user-centered tools by developing our website with two things in mind. First, it should be approachable. We could not cover all forms of electronic communication, media, and formats. The number of choices are just too numerous. We went with the most commonly used formats and platforms, which we felt could appeal to a wider number of users. We then decided to show people step by step how to save material from a platform or format by avoiding jargon as much as possible. But whenever it was necessary, we have developed a glossary to explain that jargon. Second, and lastly, the tools provided by the website should be cost-effective, so it doesn't hurt anyone's pocketbook. So in the end, we decided to focus on three formats: social media, email, and digital photography, each of which will be explained shortly. But first, here's a screenshot of the main page of the website at the time of this recording. We will also show a little more of the site later. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Ginny Schneider, our research chair, to walk you through how we approached the overarching process to save digital material.
This slide includes two snapshots from the website we've created. The website is organized in a way for users to explore individual parts or follow a suggested workflow outlined by several steps. Those steps include getting organized, deciding what to save, how to start saving content from each of the three categories: emails, digital photographs, and social media, and finally, storage guidelines. Getting organized is presented as a highly recommended step. It is intentionally highlighted in this way as we acknowledge addressing organization recommendations may deter some users from starting the process of preserving their digital content. Social media platforms offer digital spaces for people to interact with one another and share a variety of media. Providing guidance to the general public on how to preserve their social media enables them to consider what parts of their social media they want access to in the future. Based on usage statistics at the beginning of this project, 4 platforms were chosen to address, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. The website provides instructions to users based on interactions with each platform in a desktop environment through their browser of choice. These instructions from each social media platform were sourced directly from their respective websites. Users are notified on this part of the website that these instructions are updated at the discretion of each social media platform, and users are encouraged to explore through external links the additional resources provided for each one. This slide includes two snapshots from our group's website. The image depicted on the left shows an example of the instructions to download user data from Facebook, and the image on the right is a snapshot of some of the third-party services suggested, including notable differences when compared with going directly through social media providers. Next up, Kendra Moyer will discuss digital photography.
Hi, this is Kendra Moyer with the Wayne State University chapter of the NDSA, reporting on organizing and archiving digital-born photos. The research we looked into included a basic workshop on organizing digital photos, the Smithsonian Institute's recommendations on best practices, the Library of Congress's tips for preserving digital photographs. And there were some concurrent themes that ran through each of these bits of research. The workshop kind of got into the basics of gathering images, taking inventory, creating backups, establishing a core file structure, then distributing files into folders and extracting duplicates, as well as renaming files while adding the metadata tags, and finally creating a maintenance schedule. The Smithsonian Institute dives a little deeper into the strategy, taking a look at the stabilization process, which is centralizing each of these images and making sure that they're preserved in their original format. The ingestion process is creating the actual archive and renaming each of the images with a unique name that will be unique to the archive, and amongst other actions. And then there's a blend of strategies that include looking at the image from the bit level preservation perspective, making sure that it can be recreated from its original format, regardless of equipment and formats becoming obsolete. Can we get back to that point? And oftentimes that is dependent on the types of migration that are used from one system to the next. As we migrate, are we making sure that we have some sort of system that can revert back to prior versions of the image? And then finally, there's emulation, which gets deeper into this, which is actually maintaining certain equipment so that some images can be preserved in their original format in digital formats, since many digital forms, since many of these images can go back 10, 15, 20 years. The Library of Congress has an article by Butch Lazarchak, who basically makes this very easy for the layperson with too many photos, which is to identify, decide, organize, and then make copies of your images. This is very short and straight and to the point. And so from this and some other articles, we were able to create a tool for digital photography archiving, which incorporates some of the best practices that can be used to train and educate families, lay people, or people who are kind of new to using different formats and whatnot.
This slide includes two snapshots from our group's website. The image on the left is a snapshot from the steps to follow when saving digital photographs. The image on the right is from the organization page on our website, offering an example about how to create a core file structure when organizing digital photographs. Next up, Eric Morgel will discuss emails.
When my co-researchers and I began this process, we delved into the research about EML format and MBOX format for email preservation. But what quickly happened is that we became overwhelmed by not only the amount of information available on these formats, but just the complexity involved in these formats. And then we began to wonder if we as graduate students in information science are getting confused and upset with all of the complexity that these formats entail, Imagine what someone without an LIS background would feel if they encountered this information. And as we kept going on in the process, we felt that there wasn't an easy way to best explain these processes. So we decided to make our recommendation as simple as possible. And we decided to recommend saving email, either individual or chains of emails, as PDF files because of their ubiquity, but also their accessibility. PDF files are free to create, and they're pretty simple to use, and they have a long shelf life as well. So they will at least last for a number of years, if not indefinitely. This recommendation from us also comes with the idea that most of the users of our tool are saving only a few relevant emails as opposed to entire inboxes. So it really doesn't make sense to recommend the inbox format, for example, for a user who wants to just save emails from his grandchildren or emails about legal documents that he needs. And though it may seem counterintuitive to have our users search through their inbox for messages they wish to save, it's our hope that once they understand how to do this process, they'll be empowered to save emails that they think are important immediately upon receiving them, and then learn essentially how to sift through information from either a relevant source or important source versus like a spam email.
To wrap up, we did not want the website to stand alone in the ether. The next step is to take it out to the public in some way to underserved areas, whether through in-person presentations, workshops, or tutorials. Of course, this all depends on the circumstances with COVID, so doing something online will be an option and be considered. The idea is to help people learn the process to save their digital materials in a way that does not intimidate those who don't know where to begin. It is also our hope that this will act as a resource for people to continue to consult to maintain their digitally born memories. With that, we conclude our presentation. Again, thank you for giving us this opportunity. And if you have any questions, please ask. Suggestions are welcome as well. You may also contact us by email, and of course, please check out the website. Thank you.